premiere of Love the Beast was in Sydney last night. Eric Bana, well done, mate. Congratulations. How was it?
Thank you,
Welcome.
sir.
The whole lot. How's your breakfast?
It's pretty plain, actually. Pretty plain this morning. No, it was great. It was good. It was good fun last night. It was, you know.
Were you nervous?
No, kind of weirdly not. I don't know why. I guess it's that thing, you know. It's like all the work's done and there's really nothing you can do, you know.
Is it nice to see your baby up there on the big screen, though? It's obviously something that's pretty close to your heart.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a fair bit of it in the last couple of years, so sometimes it hurts seeing it up there, you know, in different shapes and sizes.
Mate, I'm going to commend you because I absolutely loved it. I loved it. I thought it was
thanks,
an
buddy.
awesome film. And I know that it's meant to appeal to people like me, but I thought it was even better than I thought it would be. It was great because what I really liked about it is it's obviously it's a film about car culture and blokes in Australia, and I got that from the get-go. But it is so well made. It is so well shot with aerial photography and a storyline right through it. I was really quite at the end of it. I shit you not, I wanted to go home and hug my car. It was weird like that because I can watch films like chick flicks and be completely emotive about them and not care at all. But I went home after that and think I just want to hug my car.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, someone said to me
Brilliant.
last night after the screening, they said, you know what this is? This is a film about men that every woman must see. I thought, cool. I like that description.
I mean, it's basically about your obsession with your Ford. How do you explain to people what is it that made you just buy this car when you were a kid, hold on to it, and then do it up? And
well, I bought it as a kid because I just, you know, I fell in love with the car. It was, you know, a very iconic muscle car when, you know, in the 70s. And then Mad Max came out and I was like, oh, definitely getting one of those. And I kind of kept it largely out of just being stupid and stubborn. You know, like there was plenty of times I should have sold it and literally couldn't afford to put petrol in the tank and stuff. And I just hung on to it and hung on to it. And then I got to this stage of my life where I suddenly was 40 and I went, I've had this car for 25 years and there's like a whole sort of life story in the car because the car's been the one thing that's kind of been dragged with me everywhere, which is unlike other things in our lives that we kind of discard or have to discard, you know, because as we get older and our responsibilities change and stuff, you know, we have to let go of a lot of things, passions, interests, hobbies, objects, you know, whereas this thing, I suddenly went, wow, there's something else in this story other than just being about a car.
mate, it is fantastic. Was it you with having your mates and family in it? I love your relationship with your dad in it. Was that a hard thing to decide to say, oh, I'm going to put my dad in a movie and open him up to that sort of stuff, open up that side of your life?
Not really, because the whole sort of guiding principle for the whole film was no one was in the film unless they had direct contact with the car, and the people that were in the film were in there in that capacity. So I didn't even sort of see it as my dad's in the film. It was like, you know, his relationship with me and how it connects to the car is in the film, you know. So obviously I was very protective of, you know, my family, my mum and dad and stuff like that. So I was never, concerned about that. And plus, I wouldn't have dreamt of exposing any of them if I wasn't directing and editing the film. So no, they were cool, and their reaction to it was pretty funny. At the end of it, my mum got all upset and was like, "I'm sorry, Ivan, I've been so mean to you about your car. I feel terrible now. I feel so guilty."
You're talking about, I mean, Merrick's saying about that he loved it and because he loves cars as well. And I think a lot of women probably don't understand a man's love for his car. And you're saying even last night someone came up to you and said, this is the film that every woman should see. Why is that? Is it to understand that relationship that a bloke has?
No, it's actually not so much about the guy's relationship with a car, but about the guy's relationships with each other. And that's what the film's really about, actually, and the one that I wanted to tell. And I think it's because it taps into that stuff that men don't normally talk about. And I think that's what's fascinating people. You know, it's dealing with the way that guys interact with each other, which is a kind of hard thing to articulate. You know, like women are great at talking and bonding through talking, whereas men kind of need something to do together. Yeah. You know, and that's what the car's been for me. And it's odd. The film seems to be more about the audience and it is about me in the end when they see it. They kind of see themselves through the characters in the film. It's interesting.
What's great about the film, what I really liked again, is the fact that it's made like a movie. It's not like you've just got a couple of handy cams and said, "Oh, I'm going to go for a bit of a drive. We'll just shoot some shit."
Yeah.
And at the end of it, so obviously you thought about it before you did Targa. and before you went on the process, you'd obviously had some sort of thought process that has had a continual right through the film, yeah?
Yeah. Well, I wanted it to feel like a narrative feature film. I didn't want it to feel like a documentary. And to the extent that I could, craft the story, I did. And then obviously, there's a lot that's out of your control when you're filming something in documentary format. But just about all the great things that happened within that world, were really great, happy accidents. Like, I obviously didn't plan on riding off my car, but it was plan B was a bit better than plan A, I must say. It had a little bit more dramatic impact. So there were a lot of things that happened along the way that just kind of added to the story rather than subtracted from the one that I wanted to tell. And I just kind of rolled with it, as you have to.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back to you're talking about your mateship with you and your friends that are associated with the car. Yeah, one of the other surprising things that I found was that your mates that you work on the car and hang out with have no other association with each other apart from when you're around.
Yeah. Well,
how does that work?
Well, they're just, a couple of them are old school friends and a couple of them aren't. And so the kind of common denominator is working on the car, so then they've become close friends over the years, through the car, which was one of the realizations that I'd made was that, after all these years that the car had been the excuse for us all to kind of to get together and form around. And then from that friendships developed. And I've had a lot of blokes come up to me afterwards and go, yep, I've got a beast. It's my fishing trip. It's once a year, me and the guys go on a fishing trip. We hardly see each other all year, but we go on this fishing trip. And, examples of things like that, where of how important that outlet is to people,